Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune in to the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I'm back again with another solo show, talking to you guys about what seems to have been a long few weeks really in terms of football, and obviously having a postponements and whatnot. Finally we see United play, and all we're going to do is moan about it because it was absolutely dreadful, let's be honest. But yeah, good to talk to you all. Obviously in the chat, get your questions in and I'll try and interact with as many as you can. As I always do. But first, I just want to say I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. Obviously, I wish you all a very, very happy New Year. But yeah, I hope you've had a good one. All of the Villa, big up to you. I've had a great Christmas, thank you. I'm off work, loving life at the minute. So yeah, the only thing is the weather's a bit miserable, isn't it? But in terms of being off work, just chilling and seeing family and whatnot, I've had a really good Christmas, and I hope you guys have done the same as well. Hello to you, Andrew. I hope you've had a good Christmas. Santiago says, I hope that Ralph makes a statement and drops certain players who are not performing. I hope so too. We're definitely going to be discussing the performance, if you want to call it a performance of a day, and obviously what I think should happen going forward against Burnley as well. And big up to Nola, hope you're doing well. So big up Soph, hope you had a great Christmas. I did, and I hope you are having a good Christmas as well. It's not over yet. Celebrations are still continuing. Like I said, I'm still on my holidays at the minute, so I'm not writing it off just yet. Hello to Shivan as well, I hope you're doing well. But let's get straight into it. It's a Newcastle game. Obviously, like I say, having postponements and whatnot, and games being called off left, right and centre. It was relief to see that United's game was going ahead against Newcastle United, but then the performance, what more can I say than it was absolutely atrocious. Obviously, there's more and more news filtering out now, whether it's true or not, that players aren't happy with training later and leaving the training ground in the dark and whatnot. Ralph certainly is trying to have an impact on the players. If you've watched my channel, you will know that for a long time now, I've questioned the mentality of these players. I've said it's the same core group of players who have failed several managers before and are continuing to fail managers now. And I'm not sitting here and saying Ollie shouldn't have been sacked. I'm not sitting here and saying that there wasn't an issue with Ollie tactically and whatnot. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying now I think that people's eyes are being opened, that actually the players need to take some responsibility. And we talk about player power in the modern game and whatnot. But this group of players right now, I know that having the right attitude or working hard isn't enough to play for Manchester United. I'm not saying that, but that's the basic thing. Like, you should be fighting for that badge. I don't see that from these players. I don't see that fighting, that desire. Look at Newcastle the other day, fighting for the badge, fighting to try and stay up and whatnot. And then you've got us ambling around the pitch. I've seen Rashford, and you know me, Rashford, one of my favourite players. I've seen him got nutmegged and just stood there and watched it happen, not tried to win the ball back afterwards. And attitude has been a massive issue now for a long time with these players. And we've had these individual moments that have dragged us through games and whatnot. But when you haven't got these individual moments and players' attitude simply... And Newcastle, I thought we were really lucky the other day to get that draw against Newcastle. They could have scored 3 or 4. Absolutely shocking. And the basics, like I said, the basics. I'm seeing players booting the ball out to play, miscontrolling it, playing suicidal balls across the pitch. It's just, yeah, mind-numbing to say the least, but it's frustrating, isn't it? When you see the calibre of players that we have got and the attitude at the minute and the work rate. And like I say, I'm not saying you work hard and you're good enough for Manchester United. We know that. You know that you have to have more to your game. But surely that's the basics. If you're having a bad game, fair enough, but at least work hard and at least try and fight for your team and get the ball back and whatnot. And I tweeted saying that I can handle a bad game. I can handle an off game. I can handle players not being informed as such, as long as they're working hard. And you can see they're trying to get the ball back and they're trying to make stuff happen. And we're just not seeing that from our players. Richard said there they cannot pass. Hello to Lawbreaker, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, we couldn't pass. 5-yard passes were going astray. Newcastle look the better footballing team. And this is Newcastle, a team that has been slated most of the season. We made them look world class. Absolutely shocking. Like I say, the basic for me is you go out there and you put a shift in for your team, and we're not even getting that out to the players at the minute. With a new manager in as well, it's concerning, isn't it? Noel said, what was your thoughts on Joel Linton and St Maximin running rings and being like Messi? Where would United be without De Gea? Where would we be without De Gea? Exactly. Player of the season again for me. I can see Newcastle staying up with a play like that from now until the end of the season. Look, we all know when United are in town, teams step up, and it's like a World Cup, like it's a cup final, isn't it? Like teams play, when you're Manchester United are in town, teams do step up and play better. But you can't tell me the squad that we put out the other day. I mean, we can talk about tactics, we can talk about the manager. I saw a lot of people saying nothing has changed since Ollie, what's going on? Surely that tells you everything you need to know. It's down to the players. You can keep swapping the manager all you like, but this is not a quick fix. And I think we've said it for a while. It's not a quick fix. Yes, the maximum should have scored from 2 yards out, definitely. Acid hello to you, said afternoon, so hope you're well. I've got to say, what a sack of utter crap. These United players don't deserve to be playing for the club. Disgraceful. This has been going for 6 years. Finish the club. It is frustrating, and obviously I saw Gary Neville's comments afterwards, stuff about Bruno and Ronaldo going straight down the tunnel. What I will say is, I think Bruno is normally there applauding the fans. To be fair, obviously it wasn't the other day, which is frustrating. But for me, especially playing away from home, you need to be going and clapping those fans. Them fans who've climbed those heaps of stairs to get to the top to watch your team play and play like that. Look, the least you can do is go and applaud the fans. So that is frustrating to see and disappointing to see, and hopefully that changes. But I do think Bruno, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that most of the time he is there applauding the fans. But obviously the other day he just wasn't. And this is a question for everyone in the chat. Do you think that Ronaldo and Bruno are getting frustrated with the personnel around them? Like I say, they were literally playing like under sevens football, everyone flocking towards the ball, miscontrolling it, 5 yard passes going astray. Are Bruno and Ronaldo now getting frustrated with the lack of quality around them in that team? Is this really starting to show now? And like Neville said, you want them to lift the others around them, of course you do. But is it maybe that their mindset now has changed a little bit? Because I wouldn't be happy playing amongst players who are playing like that. Let's be honest, like it's been awful. I agree. I think Cavani should start. If Cavani's fit, he starts every game for me. I think he instills everything that United is about, his work rate. The way that he lifts the others around him as well. You saw it. He missed a good chance, and then straight away he's turning and he's trying to lift the players around him. And obviously he scores goals as well. So yeah, Cavani has to start in my opinion. Hello to you, Danny. I hope you're doing well. I'm of the opinion that we now need to move a lot of this squad on, and they're just not interested. I agree with you. I think that we do need another rebuild, if you want to call it that. But there's players that need to go. Players do need to go. Gary Neville needs to wind his neck in, to be honest, after backing Ollie to the end and then slagging on Ralph. I agree to an extent, but I also agree with him where these players have thrown Ollie under the bus, thrown other players, other managers under the bus, and they'll continue to throw people under the bus because let's face it, a lot of these players shouldn't be here at United, and it goes hand in hand with the comment I've just read that we need to ship a few of these players out, and I do agree with that. But yeah, I agree. Obviously, Neville, the way that he backed Ollie, I'm not disputing that. But in terms of his point about saying players are going to throw managers under the bus, I can't disagree with him on that one. No, it's a great question, Soph. I think it's the players who are to blame. I don't think it's Ralph's fault. I have a feeling that it's all down to mentality. See, I think Ralph has to take some blame to an extent because Marcus Rashford, as I've said, my favourite player for quite a while at United, been playing awful lately. Awful. His attitude stinks. If you're being bluntly honest, he just looks like he's not interested at the minute. For whatever reason, he just doesn't look the same player. And he started him, and for whatever reason, he seems to continue to start him. When Sancho, I felt, was hitting a rich vein of form. Even Greenwood getting taken off when I would have took Rashford off. I have to disagree with those changes, but in general, the performance should have been a lot better than it was, and that does have to come down to the players. But yeah, the starting Rashford thing, I agree to some extent, showing a bit of faith in the player and wanting him to find his form. But Sancho, the way that he's been playing recently, surely he should be in ahead of Rashford, and that's the one thing that I would criticise definitely. Big up to you, Zoe. Hope you're good. He said, you and a lot of people in the chat said this for ages. So if the players' attitude is unacceptable, manager aside, United need a serious clear out of the players. Totally agree with it. Rashford's hair turning grey. He's had little blonde tips on it, hasn't he? Talksport was apparently praising how good Rashford was after the game. It was dreadful. And that, I don't even know what to call it. Something you press the wrong button on FIFA, isn't it? And you slash it. You press shoot instead of cross and it just goes wrong. I don't really want to touch on that too much, but that was just symbolic of what happened in the game for Rashford and for United, to be honest with you. Big up to you, George. I hope you're doing well. And the majority of the players did applaud those fans that travel there, except for Ronaldo, Rashford and Matic. And yet it wasn't the best performance, but they could have acknowledged us at least. I agree. I think, especially after a performance like that, when, like I say, fans have climbed all those stairs, travelled to Newcastle, the least you can do is thank the fans for their support. And it is disappointing to see that. And hopefully we don't see that again. Happy New Year to you, Keith. Hope you have a really good one. And hope you had a good Christmas as well. And obviously to everyone in the chat, I wish you all a very healthy and happy New Year. And hope you've had a good Christmas celebration. And what was your thoughts on Newcastle fan channel saying they don't understand the hype on Rashford and that they've never rated him? And Ronaldo moaning at the ref. The whinging, Manchester United, I called us the other day, the whinging at the ref was just frustrating. And then there's an element of it where, yeah, you have to go on the ref's back and obviously try and get decisions, especially in a scrappy game. But we were moaning for nothing. I mean, I saw Tellez rolling around at one point as well, just before Ronaldo. A lot of people think he could have had a red card. Yeah, the moaning, I can't get on side with that. I cannot get on side with it. In terms of the Rashford, I think Rashford has shown in flashes that he's got a lot of ability, but yeah, you'd have to say, especially like last season and this season, he really hasn't. I know he's had his injuries and whatnot, but he really hasn't hit the heights that we thought he could hit. I'm hoping he can. I still have faith in him that he can turn it around, but there's no denying it right now. He shouldn't be starting over Sancho, and it's simple as that. Am I sitting here saying we should sell Rashford? No, because like I said, there is a player in there. You don't just turn bad overnight. But for whatever reason, at the minute, his attitude doesn't seem right, and whether that injury is still playing on his mind, I don't know. I'm not coming up with excuses. All I'm saying is that as a manager, you've got to recognise that performances aren't good enough, and no matter how much faith you have in a player, like if there's a player like Sancho on the bench, surely he should be starting at the minute. His job is massive. I agree. It's hard to say, isn't it, whether he's good enough for United or not at the minute, or whether he's the right guy. But I think there's no two ways about it. He needed to put it up the players. He needed to stick it to them. We needed change, and hopefully Ralph being a bit harsher and apparently the players at the moment are throwing the toys at the pram and whatnot. But that's what needed to happen long run. That's what needed to happen in my eyes, anyway. We need Rangnick to coach better decision making. It's like we need to start again with these players. Like, look at the players we've got as well, but it's almost like we need to start again. Like I said, some of the basics that I saw the other day was embarrassing. This team mentality and physically weak. Most of them do not want to put the work in. And I also think when the going gets tough, a lot of these players hide as well. They don't want to get on the ball. We don't start playing these risky passes. We stop playing ultimately as well. And you even seen players like Varane coming in and just playing stray passes across the pitch, obviously the mistake for the goal as well. And look, he's been injured. Maybe he's come back a bit too soon. Who knows? But why do we seem to make players poor at United? And that's what questions the mentality at this club. The mentality for me just isn't good enough. Players are coming back from COVID. There is that. Obviously, the COVID element as well, and that players might be lacking and whatnot. But like, it was just the whole body language for me didn't seem right. Like I say, an off game I can kind of accept. Being a bit disjointed I can accept because you haven't really trained as much and players have been out with COVID and whatnot. I get it. But the lack of work rate for me, it just doesn't sit right for me at all. Good evening to Doug. I hope you're doing well. The same from 6 started against Newcastle as Ollie stuck with and got sacked with. Let's put Sancho in then. Let's mix it up a bit. I agree. We need to make some changes, and surely against Burnley, he has to make some changes as well. I think finding the good players and the bad players is pretty clear right now. I'll be being drastic. Start finding some of them until they pull the socks up. Something's got to happen. We can't keep going like this. We can't keep going like this. The football's getting worse at the moment. Yeah, obviously you can't play tomorrow anyway. What's your thoughts in the chat, by the way? Let me know. Who do you think starting instead of Bruno? Bruno obviously is suspended. He hasn't been playing well. His attitude also doesn't seem great at the minute as well. You said drop him, obviously automatically he's dropped anyway because he's not playing. But this could be a chance for someone like Donny maybe to come in and take the reins and be able to get a run of games because it should be based on form at the end of the day. Who knows? Who knows? Doug said, "Am I back? I'm not 100%. I've still got a little bit of a cough, but I'm nowhere near as bad as I was. I was terrible, to be fair, but no, I'm not as bad as I was. Thank you, Doug. Ragnick now knows what he's doing. He's shown the fan base that these players are not good enough. Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like with Ralph, with him being a bit stricter with the players, with him making them train longer, that they need this. I'm sorry, but they're playing for Manchester United. I think these players have had the managers had the stick for far too long, and these players need to take some responsibility ultimately, and that's genuinely how I feel about that." Thoughts on Martial? You all know my thoughts. I call him Tony Partial for a reason because partially we've seen how good he can be, but I don't think he's been consistent enough. And look, I think in terms of game time, obviously it's been a bit sparse lately and whatnot as well. He's had a few injuries and stuff, but I think in general, as soon as Ronaldo came in, we've got Greenwood there as well, who's higher in the pecking order. We've got Cavani there. Martial is going to struggle to get game time, and so him leaving, I'm not going to begrudge him with that move. For whatever reason, it just hasn't worked out for him at United, and I wish him well in the future. I think he's a very talented player, but he switches it on and off far too much for my liking, and he's just not consistent enough. So yeah, Tony Partial. I'll be sad to see him go, of course. Obviously, scoring against Liverpool, turning Skirtle inside out and whatnot. It's a memorable moment, isn't it? But he wants to break into that France squad. He's not going to get it at United, let's be honest. He's not going to get the game time, and he shouldn't get the game time with the players ahead of him. So yeah, I wish him all the best. But it's football. We have to move, don't we? In the 4-4-2, you could play Donny, maybe Jesse, but I don't think he will. Since if Jesse wants to leave, so you don't think he'll get a look in. Two banks of players versus Newcastle. We tried to go for the winning goal with Matic, Maguire, and Varane, and then a massive gap, and then the other 7 up front. Yeah, there's a lot of gaps, definitely 100%. Donny or Lingard in at 10. Bruno should be playing as an 8 and put Donny or a Pogba as a 10. Pogba obviously isn't available as well tomorrow. So I think Donny could come in. I also think Sancho could maybe come in. Depends if he's going to go for obviously the 3-2 or if he's going to go, like you say, a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. Who knows? I'd like to think that Donny will come in. I'd like to think he'll come in, but who knows? Noel, I hope you're feeling better soon. He says struggling with a head cold. It's terrible. You can't hold the cough and it's too difficult. Yeah, it's just an annoying little tickly cough now. It was a lot of a chesty cough. It's not as bad anymore. Just a bit of an annoying tickly one. His passing lately has been dreadful. Some of the stray passes you've seen where he's just booting up. I mean, you see some clips on Twitter at the minute where he's just booting it up the ball. Yeah, Pogba's passing is something that we've missed. Is Pogba going to be here come January? What do you guys think? Or do we think we're going to see movement in terms of Pogba? He still hasn't signed that contract, has he? He hasn't played under the new manager as well. I wonder. McFred is also terrible. The amount of times they got bullied off the ball was ridiculous. The lack of quality on the ball as well. Let's not even talk about that. Did you hear about full time at Newcastle had a late COVID outbreak? I didn't, but I know the game is off against Everton, isn't it? Was that meant to be tomorrow? I know that's called off. What did Santa get with Christmas? Good question. Clothes, perfume, socks, the usual that you get for Christmas. What else did I get? I went to the Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience as well on Boxing Day, which was class, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go, any of you, it's by Cheshire, I'd recommend it. But yeah, just the usuals really. Some clothes, some trainers, because you know me and my trainers, I collect them, don't I? So yeah, let me know what you guys, what's your standout presents this year as well? What have you guys had? For me, these players have had long enough and it's not good enough. They show no pride at all. The lack of pride, the lack of effort, the lack of desire is frustrating, isn't it? We've got to be patient, and I think we are patient in terms of Ralph, and we're not expecting an instant turnaround. But I don't think we'll be patient seeing players ambling around the pitch, getting nutmegged, they stood there shrugging and just watching it happen. I don't think fans are going to be patient with that at all, and I don't think we should be, to be fair. I've got a Rascal tracksuit, very, very nice. What colour did you get? United game is still on at the moment. Got an email from them tomorrow's game. Brill, I've got tickets for the Wolves game on Monday, so hopefully that goes ahead as well. Obviously, Wolves game has been off recently as well. I spoke about this when I was on Maisie's stream that I think Pogba could end up at Real Madrid. I don't think he would go to PSG as he supports their rivals. I got FIFA 2022 for Christmas. Love it. I think I tweeted about the Zidane icon that I packed, didn't I? I've also just done the Muller squad building challenge as well. Got a Jack Grealish. I got the all black triple S's, Balenciaga triple S's. That was the trainers that I chose this year. Yeah, I've already got the black with the red, and I've gone for the all black this time. I love that though. I love it. I've been looking on Nike as well. I'm seeing if there's any good sales, but I'll be honest, Boxing Day sales are not what they used to be, are they? Literally everything's reduced on Christmas Eve. There hasn't been any change on Boxing Day, really, from what I know anyway, in terms of sales. They've been pretty poor this year. We need to prevent Boye from going to the AFCON because the alternative to Jones and Maguire is very problematic. Very problematic, definitely. Zidane, he was just in a mega pack. I think it was just from the seasonal milestones. I got a mega pack. And he's untradeable, unfortunately, but obviously I've built a team around him now anyway. He is quality, to be fair. But yeah, it was just literally a mega pack, which was a bit mad. I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, let me know what's your score predictions for the Burnley game then. We can't underestimate them. We can't underestimate anybody. We're playing literally worse football than Burnley at the minute. I never thought I'd say that with the players we've got, but is it time for a turnaround? Is Ralph going to make the changes? Are you not going to be back? Are we going to bounce back? Or do you think it's going to be the same old again with these players who just can't seem to turn up at the minute? Newcastle game shows our midfield CDM are nowhere near good enough. Fingers crossed in January we do invest and we do get that CDM. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, Maguire does slow everything down. Totally agree. I agree with you on that one. 2-1 to United. 3-1 to us. 2-0 to Man United. I did ask for the Lego Old Trafford. You know what? I was looking at that the other day as well. It's so expensive, isn't it? But I would love to get that at some point as well. But yeah, I did have a little look at that on Amazon the other day. I think it was like nearly £300, which is mad, but it is cool. The most hit telegraph balls at the speed of dead snail. Sean Dyche is a defensive masterclass. He'll frustrate us, and we haven't created chances, which is why I'm not really looking forward to the game, to be honest with you. We're struggling to create chances. Against someone like Burnley, we will massively struggle to create chances. I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, some of your score predictions, I do predict we'll probably concede because we haven't exactly looked brilliant, especially against Newcastle. We didn't look great, did we? Burnley are very, very physical. They're going to be up for it. And so against Newcastle, like I say, we got lucky. Against Burnley, I don't think we'll be as lucky because they'll be up for it. they'll fight for every ball, and we need to match them physically. And we didn't do that with Newcastle. We definitely won't do it with Burnley if we turn up the same again. That midfield battle, I think, is going to be very, very key. Thank you so much, Lawbreaker. I appreciate that super chat. He says, Merry Christmas to us from our team. P.S. Bring back Andreas Pereira. It's not quite that bad yet, I don't think, Lawbreaker. Then again, I think Pereira would have stood out in that game the other day, to be fair. Thank you so much for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and Susan as well. Always bloody Burnley, as I like to call them. 1-0 is probably the better we can hope for. I think it's at the point at the minute where, and this is how bad it is for a United fan, I'm literally sitting there thinking, if we get a scraper win against Burnley, I'm happy with it. If we scrape a win against Burnley at home, I'm happy with that. That's how bad it is at the minute for us United fans. We're literally going to scrape by game, week by week. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo. We've got Bruno Fernandes. We've got Varane. It should never be like that, but it is. And like someone said earlier, Ralph has got a massive job on his hands, hasn't he? So it's so frustrating. We move. In terms of score, I'm hoping that we're going to create a few more chances. I'm hoping that Ralph is laid into the players. I'm hoping that he makes a few changes. I'm going to go 3-1 to United. 3-1 to United. I think we'll concede. But I'm just hoping, like I say, that Sancho comes in, for example, and we just look better going forward. I hope Greenwood stays on. I personally would start Cavani and Ronaldo as a two up there. 3-1 to United. That's what I'm going positive. I need to try and be positive. Akervin's gone with the same there. I love that. There are some real problem players that we need to get out of this lineup. Totally agree. There's favourites that need to go. The fact that this whole midfield can't pass the ball shows we need to clear it ASAP, and we need to invest in January. We needed to invest seasons going to CDM. We definitely need to do it in January. Surely recent performances show that. I hope we don't concede because I'm at the game tomorrow in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. Of course, I hope we don't. But if you do, I just hope we outscore them, Vincent, for your sake and for everyone's sake. Please do smash the like, guys. I'd appreciate that. Remember that game that you drew with Burnley and was that when Pope I think it was either Heaton or Pope in goal. Every Burnley keeper seems to have a worldie against us, but that game in particular, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was like there was a cheat code or something on Pope in goal. It was mad. United have lost 5 games and Burnley's lost 6. That's literally at our level at the minute. Literally our level. Hannibal, Ahmad, Alanga, young, hungry players. Yeah, we want to see a bit of fight. We want to see a bit of fight from the players, a bit of fearlessness, and maybe bringing some youngsters will do that. But I'm not sure Ralph's going to do that, to be fair. But yeah, surely Rashford gets dropped in Nick's next game. Like I say, I'd like Sancho to give him a start. Cavani should be given a start as well. In terms of the defence, I think it will see the same. Delo and Tellez either side, with Varane and Maguire centrally. And then obviously De Gea saved us so many points this season already. What a guy. He's definitely back to his best. Big up to Maisie as well. Maisie in the chat. The Devils United. Make sure you go and hit the sub on her channel as well. Devils United. But yeah, Burnley up next. Like I said, I'm not looking forward to it. They're the type of team who sit in. They'll try and hit us on the counter attack. We're struggling to create chances at the minute. That's one thing we're massively trying hard to do. We're not doing it very well. So Burnley's going to be a big, big test. And hopefully Ralph's laid into them. Hopefully the players have got over the little strops and they come out fighting. Bruno isn't playing. I would love to see Donny given a start, even though I would like to see maybe Sancho put in there as well. But who knows? I'm showing faith in the Reds. I don't know why after what I've witnessed last game, but yeah, I'm showing faith. 3-1 to United is my prediction. If I have missed your predictions in the chat, get it comments on afterwards. I always check the comments after the video. Thank you everyone for the support. As always, I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be back with more of these little solo shows as well. Hope you've enjoyed it. I always enjoy talking to you lot. And as I've already said, hope you have a wonderful new year. Enjoy your celebrations. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll be back soon. So hit a like on the video, please. If you are new, hit the subscribe on Ladies in Red as well. And I'll see you all very soon.